pressure.
Hi, welcome to No Pressure, our talk show where we answer your questions that you call or write in. My name is Jack Weeks. I work for GPM Hydraulic Consulting, the nation's leader in fluid power training, troubleshooting, and reliability. And we have as a special guest today, Larry Voss of Universal Servo. Hi, Larry.
Hey, how are you doing, Jack?
I'm doing very good. Why don't we start off and you tell us a little bit about what Universal Servo does?
Okay, I appreciate you having me on today. Universal Servo is a complete automation and robotics repair facility. So we handle anything from servo proportional valve to any electronics, robotics. We have all digital servo and proportional valve testing, 3 electronic labs, a servo motor, spindle, and induction motor lab. Our shop hydraulic area with 2 hydraulic benches out there, and then we have our robotics area. So everything is done under one roof. Always free evaluation, and we're big on extensive reporting. So with root cause of failure, trend analysis, and we've been doing free tech support since we opened 14 years ago.
Wow, that's very good. And I understand that you brought with you a question from one of your customers there?
I did. With a lot of companies that have been shut down for quite a while, having to start back up, asking, what are the proper startup procedures when they do start back up here in the next week or two.
That is a good one. Restarting a hydraulic system is a lot different from commissioning a brand new system, as you well know. We have a lot of variables different from what we have from a brand new one. I don't want to suggest that in a few minutes I could tell you everything you need to know to start up any system. There's a lot of different systems out there. There's no 2 systems that are going to be exactly the same. But let's look at a few common factors. First, they're all going to have fluid. That's one thing that's common. And that is, of course, the lifeblood of the system. It's been sitting there for weeks or maybe months. Have you had any condensation? There's a good chance of it. Did we take advantage of the downtime and do any maintenance on the system? Most people would. I would think that you probably worked on something while you had your machine down. And there's a chance anytime you take any component off of the system of getting some trash into the system. Right? So that would mean that it's a pretty good idea a few days before you start up to at least take some oil samples. Don't just take it from the reservoir. A lot of, as the system runs, if you're only going to take one sample, the center of the reservoir is a real good representative place to take it from. But if we haven't been running for a while, well, you'd kind of like to know what it looks like all over the machine, right? So it'd be a good idea to take a sample from the pump case, get a sample from large actuators, any of your critical components, manifolds where you might have proportional valves, servo valves, things like that. And if you see any kind of abnormalities, then you want to flush the system. When you get a bad report back, it's not always necessary to change the oil in the system. It's not even always desirable. But if you get one back after the system has been sitting for a while, you definitely don't want to just change what's in the reservoir, because you can guarantee that there's some nasty stuff that's going to be left out in the machine. So you really want to flush the whole machine. You don't want to just change what's in the reservoir or just flush the reservoir. You can go to our website, gpmhydraulic.com, and we have some of the best practices listed on there. Look under flushing on there. And of course, we are Como dealers. If you need a flushing machine, you could do a lot worse than one of ours. And they can be made to your specs if you don't see any of the standard models that would suit your needs. Check your oil level. A lot of times when the machine's been down for a while, people are surprised to find that the level is higher than it was when they shut down. Well, what, have people been sneaking in there pouring oil in there or what? Right? Well, probably not. This is oil draining back from the machine, right? Now, I'm sure you have heard that you can start that system up and work the air out of it, right? Yeah, you can. You can work the air out of it, and while you're doing that, you can be doing some serious damage. Damage that's not going to show up maybe for hundreds or even thousands of work hours after the fact. Components are going to cavitate, they're going to aerate, and if there's trash in there, you're going to get abnormally high wear until you have nice clean oil going through it. Start out with clean oil. Make sure your pump cases are full. Make sure that your actuators are full, and your motors and your cylinders. The manifolds, usually they'll have a check valve that's there to keep oil from draining back, but if it sits long enough, it might can get past that check valve, right? Particularly if there's a little piece of trash that's holding it open. Change all your filters. Check all of your hoses. Make sure any connections are nice and tight. If there's anything you know that's been removed, double check that. But even if you don't know, check it anyway. If your drive motor was worked on, a lot of times we'll replace a drive motor. You know, it only takes a phase reversal for that drive motor to be turning backwards, right? So when you do start up, start it intermittently, pump it a couple of times and see which way it's turning. You can really mess up a pump really fast, turning it backwards, right? Start out at idle, work with no load for a while. Hydrostatic drives, make sure your charge pressure is good. There's a lot more, of course, but these are the most common things you'd want to look for. And naturally, there are a lot of things that may well be very unique to your machine. Anything you'd want to add there, Larry?
You know, I know you hit on most of the, very technical and most important items, but one thing that I've seen many, many times over the years is something as simple as someone forgetting to turn a shut-off valve back on before they start up.
Yeah,
and they
that
don't
can do some quick damage.
They've made some, done some serious damage. So a lot of times, we're human. Those little easy things we forget about.
Yep.
Or
Yep.
obvious.
Yep, that's very good right there. And I've seen some serious damage done that way.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of machines will have a limit switch on there to keep you from being able to start up without checking that. All too many of them don't. So that's a real good one. I like that. Okay. Well, Larry, it's been a real pleasure having you with me. Hope you'll come join us on another show. Everybody stay safe and healthy out there. And remember, no pressure.
Pressure.